All right, thank you for joining us today on yet another interesting episode of The Arena, coming to you on Aneke television. My name is Chris Anibuogu, still in the spirit of the celebration of independence, Nigeria 65. It's time for us to take a look at our journey so far with regards to the health and medical sector. How far have we come? It is said that a healthy people makes a healthy nation. Has the country fared well medically, health-wise? Well, these issues and more will be taken on the show today. And then we have joining us to do justice to this matter, of course, the man who actually is in the right position to talk to us about this matter. He is the chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association, Enugu State. He is as well a consultant pediatrician. Dr. Chibuzo Ndiokwelo. It's a pleasure to have you join us, sir.
Thank you very much.
I don't know which way to go now. Is it doc or is it cha?
Anyone.
Doc and cha.
I mean, doctor, primarily.
Yes. And then by virtue of your position, you are the chairman.
Yes.
All right. You're welcome, sir. Yes, the health and medical sector in Nigeria. How far? How well so far? Nigeria is 65. Can we beat our chest proudly and say, yes, we're on track, the right track, so to say, when we consider the health and medical sector in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much for having me in this program. The question you asked, for every sector, I'm sure everybody asks him or herself that kind of question.
Yeah.
You know, for every sector you are involved in, you ask yourself how far, how well we have done. And it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed feelings. That question comes with mixed feelings. Okay. Because at 65, most of the people at the helms of affairs of the country are older than Nigeria. You know, and it comes with a lot of, you know, nuances. You know that you find out that it appears as if Nigeria is not as fresh, you know, as new with ideas, you know, because of the leadership we've had over the years, from the military dictatorship to semi-military dictatorship to what we have today now, which is branded as the Nigerian type of democracy.
Nigerian type of democracy.
Yes, exactly. And in the health sector, it's I will refrain from using certain words to describe what it is, because in a country where you have the top brass of the government seeking for medical care outside the country, I mean, you know, it doesn't really encourage or engender confidence in the health system.
Really, really worrisome.
Yes, it's very worrisome, you know. But it doesn't mean that we've not had, we've not made giant strides, you know, in our medical care. You know, if you have doctors that are trained here, see how well they do outside the country, how well they are being pushed and recruited.
And that begins to baffle us most of the times. How come we say we operate substandardly here, but then our medical doctors seem to be the bride of the rest part of the world?
Yeah, the thing there is that in the health sector, there are two aspects. You have the human resources, there are material resources. The human resources, the doctors, the other staff, the welfare of that particular manpower.
Okay.
The other aspect has to do with equipment, facilities to work with. You find out the average Nigerian doctor is expertly trained, very well trained. It's not what in the books, all right, most of the time, and then basic things for learning. Is well trained. The question is, after you finish training the doctor, he becomes a specialist, all right? He will want to work with specialist equipment, yes, and give the best to the populace. But you find out that the way our things are, I mean, government hospitals, government parastatals, government anything, how are they well managed, you know? So you find out that some of these things, even if they procure them, you know, but the management style of, this is our Nigerian style of government thing, you know, so maintenance culture and all that. You find out that over time, some of those things, like when I trained, there are some equipments that I trained with that the younger ones that are coming now, they find it difficult to operate. Yes, they find it difficult to access because they are no longer there. It's now that our chief medical director is now trying to procure some of those things. So we find out that it becomes frustrating as a trained medical doctor to balance your welfare that you expect to get after all that years of dedication. In fact, for you to practice medicine appropriately, you will have to dedicate 50% of your life to that course. And I mean, it's not the same as a lot of professions. So, and when you are doing that, for you not to be distracted, for you not to have this thing they talk about, you have to have multiple sources of income. I mean, in America, those things don't occur. If they are paid very well, you focus on give your patients the best.
That's right.
So for you to now go into the streets like every other person, hustle, try to do private practice, all those things, it becomes a challenge. It becomes challenging. I mean, paying, what the country is like now. Some doctors, their 1 month salary can't pay for their house rent, can't pay for anything. So they find out that you become distracted, and the average doctor has a particular level of prestige, or there are things that he would want to do. So you find out that it now creates this avenue for brain drain. People want to go to where they will give their all to the patient, and then they are well taken care of. All right. So if you look at the globe, look at it holistically, our health sector has a challenge.
Okay.
In the sense that most of the government-owned hospitals, all right, have infrastructure deficits. They have infrastructure deficits. Both the government hospitals, both the government-owned schools, where you train also the students, medical students and all that, where the medical doctors also lecture, there are serious infrastructure deficits. And, we see people in government prioritizing other things, things
above.
Yes, above the health sector. Yes, exactly. So, and when they say health is wealth, people don't understand that one day you will land on the table of a doctor, So, and the way they, prioritize things makes it difficult for the health sector to move in leaps and bounds, and get to where we want it to be, at the national level. At the state level, some of the governments are trying. Delta state government is trying with the universal health insurance. Enugu state is doing well with universal health insurance.
Okay.
And even the governor is a lawyer, the deputy is a lawyer, but the kind of searchlight they are beaming on the health sector means that the man is a very smart man. In
Enugu State?
Yes, yes.
All right, we'll dedicate a quality time of this discussion to what is going on in the state. All right, so, but for you now as a medical doctor, are you satisfied with what we have in Nigeria as a people, talking about health and medics?
No, that's a capital no. Any doctor that will tell you, give you half yes. It's not being sincere. I mean,
wow, that's really not encouraging.
No, that's not encouraging. If it's encouraging, we can't have the #1 man in the country seeking for help outside.
Over time, we've seen where 1 or 2 governments have come into office and they say, okay, no more medical tourism for government officials. But then it ends up on the papers. Implementation becomes problematic.
Yes. We saw what happened during COVID. It's the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, then, may he so rest in peace, Kyari.
Yes.
Kyari said that he was shocked to find out that some hospitals don't have ventilators. Even the Aso Clinic, he was shocked because most of these people don't interact with these our hospitals. If they do, they will understand the decay. And that's why if you have a policy that will mandate or make it compulsory for these people that are taken care of by the state resources to seek health care in the country, among other things, they will dedicate their time in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, making sure that those health facilities are top notch, because that's where they will end up.
But again, Doc, I wouldn't know. Where do you think the problem actually lies? Is it an intentional act that our leaders just wish to have your sector, the medical sector, remain the way it is? Or is it an indication of ignorance? Is it, some persons have called 1 or 2 policies of government or their style of leadership, what do they call it again? Conspiracy theory. conspiring against the people to keep the people down. Do you think that is actually what is going on between the leadership and those of you who are in the medical sector? Just to keep you low.
Well, I don't think it's a willful act. I think it's
not intentional.
I don't think it's intentional, but I think it's a combination of a lot of things you talked about: ignorance, politics, all right, institutional decay at the governance level. You know, there are many aspects, many things that conspire within, many things that conspire to keep us where we are. Not that there's an intentional, there's an idea intentionally designed to make sure that our health systems are like that. No, I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
I don't believe it exists. But I know that there are many reasons, because like it's when you interact with some of these people in power, you find out that some of them don't really know that we have challenges, all right? So there are a lot of things. Some of them genuinely don't know that we have these challenges. Yes, some don't know. You find out that some even people in the health sector are not presenting these issues in the manner the average politician will understand it, the language that they hear.
Isn't that where you should be coming in as the association holding the medicals together?
Why are we on air? I've been on air. I've had to speak.
So you should be bridging the gap with the association.
I've had to speak with. I've had to speak on air, about some of these things, and I've had to interface with, the government of the day, people and the health pilots in the system, in the state, to discuss some of the issues. And, so if you want to channel or zero in on the state, they are doing a lot. They're even ahead of us. These people are really...
I know, we're going to give you quality time to talk to us about what's going on in the state. Before we get there, what does it really take to have a doctor trained?
Wow.
What does it take to have a doctor trained?
It takes a community.
It takes a community?
Yes. It's something that when I look back, in fact, I never thought of it apart from... how should I say? I've not thought of it in this manner till today. I was at the business center trying to print out some documents, and then I saw students coming to register for school. They started a new semester and all that, and then one was a nursing student, one was a medical student, and I saw their school fees 1 point something. No, so it's
when you say 1 point something million.
Yes, first year, second year students. The private university in this town. So I was like, wow. So we're discussing with the person that owns the business center. It was like, after all this, I now started reflecting, well, what the family is going through to put these people through this, and then what the person goes through, spending years in university, sacrificing his time. When I trained in UNEC, it's a norm. Everybody knows medical students don't go on holiday. We don't go on holiday. You spend that 6 years, come out, do your house job for 1 year, do your service for 1 year, 8 years minimum. Then you start doing a residency, 8 years, 18 years trying to get to where somebody, your mate finished in 4 years and got a job and moved on. You're trying to get to become a specialist. And all through that time, the commitment from you, your family, and your community is huge. And when you finish, and that's why it appears as if the burden is more on the health sector with respect to doctors, because after all that, a lot of people depend on you. So that's why doctors feel like after all that commitment to human development, and you are where you are, you know your worth, why do you settle for less when you are much more appreciated outside? And that's why you see this brain drain, Jabba syndrome and all that, So it takes a lot to train a doctor. It takes a lot to retain them too, because the way the system is, it's not that encouraging. Like the average professor doesn't earn up to $1,000. Not in this country. $1,000. I mean, professor. I mean, how do you, in fact, when you put it into, when you analyze it, it's mind-boggling. You know, and that's the top echelon of the, you know, professor or CMD or chief medical officer. Not even anywhere near $1,000. So you ask yourself, what can you do? Can you even attend international conferences? Can you even publish papers? If you want to publish a paper, 3,000, 4,000 euros. So how do you fit, what becomes your worth after all that? All right, so these are the challenges that the average doctor faces. No, most people don't understand these things. All right, so it takes a lot to train a doctor. It takes a lot. And even the government also, the government commits also to training doctors, at least in the government.
They do?
Hospitals, yes.
Okay.
In the government hospitals, you know, not government hospitals, government universities, the government universities, there's a way the system is designed to, you know, make it easier for the doctor to be trained here. You know.
Maybe they subsidize the cost?
Yeah, I won't call it subsidy, because we call it subsidy. I mean, when we were in school, nobody told us that our school fees was subsidized. You know, it's not anywhere. But when you look at it in the real sense of it, to compare it to what, you know, is obtainable in other places, you find out that there's something that they do to make it easier for people to be able to, you know, practice, or rather, so to be trained, you know, doctors in the country.
So that's a kudos to the government side now.
Yeah, they do their bit. They do their bit, you know. They do their bit. But,
Okay, now, before we go on a short break, I want to understand clearly. Doctor, what has happened to you, the doctors now? What has happened to sacrifice? It takes a lot to have you trained. But your training is here. And all of a sudden, you abandon the people here, abandon our hospitals, and then you're looking elsewhere. You want to go where the pastures are greener. What has happened to sacrifice? At least for the sake of the people, the vulnerable members of society who constantly are in need of medical and health care. When you abandon the hospital just for the sake of greener pastures, what about them?
okay, so you know that...
Especially when you know fully well that those of them within the corridors of power will always access you wherever you go.
yeah.
But for the less privileged and vulnerable, they will not be able to do that.
Yeah, so in 2017, luckily I was there in Chicago,
Okay.
where the physician's oath was revised. And one aspect of the revision that was added there was I should be able to take care of myself so that I can take care of my patient.
Okay, so the I before the we.
It is very important. The doctor, I consult in Major Foundation here. Professor Picardo dropped dead seeing a patient. I'm not saying he wasn't well or he wasn't fit. I mean, but are you going to drop dead while managing a patient? You need to be alive. You need to be well before you know, so you can offer your best services. It's now inscribed in the physician's oath. So your health is something that you must take care of. So in the general scheme of things, you will find out that most doctors that leave this country, they leave this country, stay 5 to 10 years, to come back here to be able to be comfortable enough to give their best. Ask around. Most doctors that we know, most doctors that are our colleagues, they go back there, spend 7 years, 10 years, they are back. And now they can...
You don't really return?
I mean, the health sector. Look at most of the private hospitals, a lot of the big private hospitals that you see in some parts of the country, all right? Their doctors are trained outside, even in Lagos. All those big hospitals, all those things, most of them are foreign trained doctors.
Okay.
And you know that the best you can get in this planet is in your house, in your home. They all come back. There's nobody, very few people, if I can think of any, would want to retire in a white man's world, white man's place. Why are you comfortable? You come back to your home. Most people that have the intention of living, the only reason you are leaving this country, the only reason anybody leaves this country is not just because of a better life or you see light every day or you open the tap and it's running. It's because they want to improve their capacity financially to be able to, you know, live appropriately within the country and provide services. If you don't have, okay, I was discussing with one traditional ruler yesterday.
Okay.
He was a nurse for 37 years. He's been a nurse for 37 years. He lived abroad for more than 2 decades. He came back here, built a hospital, a nurse, gave it to doctors to manage. You know, they gave him, before he knew it, he's now the traditional ruler, living here. You know, he has helped his community, he's helping his community. You know, it's all that he did abroad. That's why we are giving back. He's just not one of them. There are many. I know many. If I leave this country today, what am I doing at 78, 60 something abroad? If I spend 10 years abroad, I come back here, enroll in one university, continue giving the information I have, knowledge I have, translating it to the younger medical students. If I have enough, if I master enough well, I build the hospital, specialize in one particular aspect, and start improving the services in that specialist area. People do that. You know, that's what has been happening. You find in different parts of the country.
Okay, if that's really what it is,
let me give you an example. People are going, a lot of our people go to Saudi, Kuwait. Do they want to live in Saudi forever? They want to live in Kuwait.
Well, maybe
is that financial capacity they want to acquire? Because the truth is, look at where we are. The young doctor that's starting today as a resident doctor is paid around 300 and something thousand. Is that a livable wage?
Somebody was asking me the other day, he said, what really does the Nigerian doctor want? I told him I'm not one, but I'm privileged to be with one. So when we come back from this break, we'll ask you that question.
All right.
What really do you want?
Yes.
All right, so there viewer, we're having discussion today with Dr. Chibuzo Ndiokwelu, who is the chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association, Enugu State Chapter. And we're looking at Nigeria 65. How far have we gone? How far have we come with our health and medical sector? Stay with us, we'll be back. Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world. All right, so you're welcome to the program. You're welcome back to the program. And we are still having the honor and pleasure of the presence of Dr. Chibuzo Ndiokwelu. All right, so back to you now. What really does the Nigerian doctor want?
Okay.
In specifics.
Nigerian doctor wants the best for the country. All right. The Nigerian doctor wants a happy workforce, medical workforce. If you have a happy medical workforce, they'll give their best. And they will be happy to stay back and do the best for them. Of course, our biggest problem, two facets, just like I said. Our biggest problem is welfare issues with respect to remuneration, basic living, living allowances that will make you feel like, okay, after all this, you can survive in this ecosystem. Because the truth is that most doctors, are surviving. They are not living. They are existing. That's the truth. You'll be surprised when you see doctors. They say this. The average doctor there are few people that are that big. The average doctor is surviving. When you look at the economic conditions here, if you have an average car, you will spend about 60 to 70,000 to fill that tank. If you run around a week, one tank is 1 week, times 4 is 240,000. Where is the salary? You have 2 kids, 3 kids in school fees. You've not talked about house rent. You've not talked about maintenance. So
I'm almost being tempted to asking you how much is a Nigerian doctor pay. But we're on air. We're not going to say.
No,
we're not going to say. Okay. Let's not talk about that.
You'll be surprised because most people don't really understand these things. They will think that you people are the big people. It doesn't work that way. It's not like that. It's not like that.
Okay, we're gradually coming down towards Enugu State to see what is actually going on. But aside the welfare aspects for the medical and health practitioners in Nigeria, which you registered the opposition that is not actually anywhere near target so far, which has led to the brain drain, Japa syndrome, and all of that. The next thing you pointed out again is the infrastructural deficit. Most of our hospitals, especially when we begin to consider the PHCs, the primary health centers, that are domiciled at the local rural areas. When last did you visit anyone?
Yeah.
Let's bring it down to Enugu now.
Yes, bring it down to Enugu. I've been in one this month.
Apart from the secondary medical facilities, let's look at the primary health center.
This month.
Let's
say last week, actually.
What did you see?
Yeah,
Are you satisfied with what you saw there?
Yeah, so let me give, because like I was saying, I think I was discussing you behind the scenes, we have a National Physicians Week.
Yes.
That's supposed to hold, Enugu was given the hosting rights.
Okay.
The national officers will be in Enugu, the national ESCO invited guests, And
you have the right to air.
Yes,
when is that coming up?
So it's coming up.
We're not going to charge you for adverts.
October 19th to 25th.
October 19th to 25th. It will happen here in
Enugu. On the 20th, we have an outreach, a massive outreach in a selected community.
Okay.
And we went to scout the community, went to, discuss with the community leaders and everything. I looked at their primary health care center. So at least they had two.
Okay.
So at least I'm aware, based on my office, that the state government had built and equipped 260 or 262
260 type 2 hospitals, right?
Centers,
okay.
Yes. And I saw two that had the basic things you need for a health center to work. Because health center is like the primary place somebody is as ill should visit, and they can take care of your basic stuff. If now you need referral to a secondary facility, which means that they will have a nurse, they may or may not have a doctor, but even in this particular state, they are now posting doctors down to these communities, right? So we met a doctor in one of the hospitals, all right? I didn't ask him how he came, but I know he works in town here, all right? So I don't know the arrangement, but those places are now, in fact, in one of the hospitals, I saw a reverend sister doing checking the fetal heart of a pregnant woman. And if these things can, because if she now detects that the fetal heart is not normal, she can now say, nah, we need to go to Enugu, that kind of thing. And you find out that most illnesses or most conditions, up to 8 out of 10, you won't have any problem.
Okay.
And where the issue is that 2 out of 10 where you have a problem, is there somebody that can identify this problem and appropriately intervene or move the person to somebody that can intervene? So I saw that they had basic small equipment that they can use to do minor surgeries, medications and all that. So they are there. To the extent that if you even leave the primary care health centers and move into the secondary, tertiary healthcare centers, if you go to ESUT, see what they're doing in ESUT. The construction that's behind the main building. In fact, I don't know what they are building there, but they are working hard to push that place up, at least the hospital. From
the way you sound, yes. You seem to be very satisfied with what the state government in Enugu is doing. For the medical sector.
I'm impressed with what they're doing. Because soon, very soon, I'm sure they would have been paid. Their salary scale was jacked up to about the highest, competing with the highest in the country. Highest in the country is Lagos. Recently, I'm aware, I work in UNTH.
Okay.
My colleague, my person I have the same salary scale with in ESUT earns more than I do.
UNTH is federal?
Yes.
ESUT is state.
Yes.
And you're saying that the difference between the salary
doctor earns more than I do. To tell you,
really,
the motivation is given the state doctors. All right. So on the remuneration aspect, they are excellent. They're doing more than we can even think of. All right. And the infrastructure aspect, you can see what they're doing. To the extent that they're building a quaternary hospital, it's no longer a tertiary hospital. The hospital that they're building, every night and day, you see them working on that place, 300-bedded hospital.
The International Hospital?
Yes,
okay.
Opposite. And so you ask yourself, why this focus on health? Why this extra effort to make sure that the health sector here is pushed up to a particular standard? And you ask yourself, to what benefit the average politician? And you now look at the manifesto of the government when they came in, the governor when they came, you see how he wants this place to be an international hub. I was discussing with his personal assistant on health at some point. He now talked about what motivated them to get that quaternary health hospital, that international hospital. All right, yes, the one, Dr. Jai, he was telling me that some of their people, some of their colleagues had health challenges, needing them to be flown abroad, emergency, at an emergency basis, about 2 of them. When they looked at what the government was spending, I mean, and if these things are domiciled here, why are all these resources being,
Carted away?
Yes. Capital flights, sending resources abroad, changing naira into dollars. So there was alarming to them that, why can't we have this thing here? People will come back to come and do the surgeries here. Example, and that's a funny thing. People in UK, they have this NHS system, National Health
Insurance.
Yes, where everybody access. It is free for most things. So people are on the NHS list. If you want to go and see a doctor there, you book an appointment. It's not like Nigeria. Come enter here anyway. Now, you book an appointment. Your appointment may be in 2 weeks' time. All right. So you find out that people there, Nigerians abroad, in fact, it's now a new thing. It's now brain gain. We're now having brain gain in the health sector in Nigeria.
Are you serious?
Yes, in some cities, Lagos, Abuja. So I think it's one of the things that these people learn from.
They come back home from
exactly.
abroad.
To come back home. Let me give you an example. I have a colleague here that jabbed and went to UK. He had a lump here.
Okay.
Yes, had a lump here. He had 5 months appointment. When they assessed the lump and said, okay, this doesn't look as if it's cancerous, he had a 5 months appointment to see the specialist, the surgeon. If he wanted to do that surgery at the private hospital in the UK, it was going to cost him about £4,000.
Don't ask me what the Naira equivalent will be.
Oh, you'll be shocked.
No, my producer can't even ask me
no
that
problem.
question.
So £4,000. He told me that.
That's huge.
Huge. He told me that it will cost him less than £2,000 to fly back to Nigeria, do the surgery, and fly back again. We have people here that can do it, and he came back to Nigeria and did it. This was last year September,
and it was successful.
Yes. So you find out that people are now coming back. So if we have these excellent facilities there, rather than spend that much abroad to do it, they'll just fly back to Nigeria, do it, and go back again.
Okay, so in Enugu State, under this current administration, you can hear it, that the medical and health sector is actually, the narrative is being changed. That's the message. 260 type 2 health centers at the local areas, and then also apart from beefing up the secondary health facilities. Now the state government has embarked on building an international hospital for 300 beddings.
Yes.
And we expect that it should be completed anytime soon.
Exactly.
Okay, kudos. I don't know. The Nigerian Medical Association, once in a while we hear they're embarking on strike. But for some time now, we've not heard of strike, national strike, except that which happened in the FCT. The resident doctors in FCT, right? Recently.
Yes.
We've not heard of any national strike from the NMA. And from the way you're sounding, it's obvious the NMA in Enugu will not be considering the option of strike over any matter at all whatsoever involving them and the government, right?
Well, yes.
Because each time you go on strike,
yes,
we know the implication.
Yes, the implication is
people
huge.
die.
Yes.
People die.
It's really huge. I give an example. When somebody was telling us about trying to say lawyers, when they came for here with their came for conferences here, a conference here with they were everywhere, plenty. Why can't? And told him that the Nigerian doctors, imagine what it means for 15,000 Nigerian doctors to empty out all the hospitals
from all the hospitals,
quarter in one
come
state
for conference
for 1 week. People will drop dead.
No, I will sue you.
Yeah, it can happen.
I'll personally sue you if you
it
do
gives
that.
the person a perspective of what medicine is like.
That's right.
All right. We have challenges, and it will always have challenges. Even in Enugu State, we have challenges. But the question is it at the level that we need to down tools? All right. Is it at a level that's unbearable? Even at the national level, there are discussions on the way now that may create some level of industrial harmony. You know, because there's a collective bargaining agreement that was set up, a meeting that was set up, and at some point, some issues happened at the level of Ministry of Health and Ministry of Labor. Ministry of Health suspended the discussion, Ministry of Labor suspended the discussion. And these things are supposed to, this is at the heart of, the remuneration of a doctor. At that national level, it's at the heart of it. Because since this downturn in the economy over the past 2 years, we've seen the military people, their salaries raised by 300%. We've seen the judges, all right? You've seen specific groups being compensated because of the challenges so that they can survive in this economy. But we're here. So we've been asking, are we not in that same, why are the military people and the lawyers more prioritized? Is it because of, So these are things. So, but we don't, that's not our problem. Give us what we feel that is livable so that we can survive. All right? Yeah, so that's just it. So that particular agreement has been suspended, and the waters are being ruffled, and then the soil is shaking, and
but that's not a sign that we should expect maybe another industrial action strike coming from.
Well, we can't say that the industrial action is imminent. We can't say it's imminent. But
please can you go for the option of the Georgia? The Georgia will be better. Just go on negotiation, dialogue with the government, please, but don't down tools anymore. We beg you. So finally, in the next 2 minutes. Before that one, Doc, what about the aspects of commitment, attitude? Some of your colleagues, their attitude towards the patients, towards their work, is unethical. You're aware of what happened to a colleague of ours, a broadcaster, who we lost at Arise Television recently.
Yes.
The information said that she was taken to the hospital and not much attention was paid by the medical practitioners there.
Yes.
What about that part of what you do?
Yes. So the problem in the health sector is multifaceted. We are the ones that know the problem. All right. I will address one aspect. One aspect is due to the fact that there's this gap in human resources and medical infrastructure. Some people tend to fill that gap. You find out some things that they call hospitals are not really hospitals. Some of them are not even managed by doctors. All right. So you see some of these things. Everybody has adorned the white coat is adjudged as a doctor. All right. So you find out this is one of the things that happen. I don't know the specific case in that particular case, but it happens in some localities. So it rubs off negatively on us in the sense that all these people doing these things, they don't have the medical qualification or knowledge or even understand medical ethics. So they treat these things as pure buy and sell, and it rubs off on, and that's where regulatory authorities come into place. They fight them on a daily basis. It's a cancer.
At least when we have emergency situations, I think life should be considered first.
Exactly. So in that aspect, that's on one aspect. Yeah. In another aspect, I can't say that we don't have cases of some of these things you said by true medical professionals. You can't say it doesn't happen. We once in a while you see things that are not really up to standard. And that's why we have our medical and dental council.
Okay.
All right. And so if you have people that behave in such manner and these things are validated, these things are verified, we can bring it up. You know, we have our medical and dental council has a tribunal.
Okay.
A tribunal is equivalent to a high court. If they find you guilty, your license goes. Yes.
Okay.
So they answer some of these cases. Actually, it's not something that will broadcast. There are a lot of cases in front of them about people that engage in some of these practices, and these things go to the council. Without that, council is one that issues out your license every year. So if you are not licensed to practice, all those things, you are finished. Yeah. So unethical things can be brought to us as an association.
Okay.
We have ones that we are managing now. One in Anaba, one in Nsuka, one in Udi here. That people who wrote to us, some lawyers wrote to us, some individuals just wrote to us, and we investigated. And we carry all these data materials, Ministry of Health,
Okay.
because they are the enforcers and people that are domiciled with the power to so look into some of these things. And we collaborate with them to make sure that these things don't go on again. In fact, one came to me recently that the hospital was shut down by the ministry, and now the owner came. The owner is the person that is now, the hospital is now a new owner, registered under a doctor, that they've done all the things that the hospital ministry said they should do, everything. But then they have called us. Please help us look at these people again. Look at them, look at their documents, the doctors, this. So no problem. We'll send a team to go and interrogate these people, because we know our people. So basically, that's how we work hand in hand with them.
Okay.
So it happens. It's just like in every, it happens. We see
every sector.
We see real ethical, breaches in our profession, but we also see those that are not done by doctors, but because they wear white coats, they are just like that one that happened with in Oka at some point. EFCC, came in the night, blah blah blah, talked about internet, or the fraudsters and all that. A doctor everywhere online. But it was when the Oka chairman of NME Oka investigated. It was not a doctor; it was a lab guy.
Imagine.
So so basically these things happen. So it was both ways.
It's both ways.
Yeah, it's both ways.
Doc, certainly a good place to lead the discussion, but this is not going to be the end. We're just running a series, Nigeria 65, but then beyond the independence celebration, we look forward to having you from time to time so that we'll keep talking to our people on issues related to health and medical management.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll be glad to always oblige you. It's my schedule.
All right, it's our pleasure. Okay, Dr. Chibuzo Ndiokweli is his name. He's the chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association here in Enugu State, as well as a consultant pediatrician. My name is Chris Anibogu. Take your health very seriously, whether you're in government or outside government. Bye for now. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.